It made me get my shit together. Sorry, my French, but it made me like, stop holding on to this thing. I was so nervous, and it was like, why? You have this gift, share it with the world. Like, what are you doing? So that was the fire that literally burnt the shit out my ass and said, put this workshop out, get this together, like get it, figure out what it's going to be, and really work to make it a great experience for people.
Welcome to the Friends in Beauty podcast, a safe space for ambitious beauty industry creatives to have real talk, get real answers, and practical tools to grow their businesses. My name is Arfree Woodard, and I'm a makeup artist, beauty educator, and the creator of Friends in Beauty. I created Friends in Beauty to support like-minded creatives just like you on their quest to connect, network, and build genuine relationships within the beauty community. Join me every week as me and my special guests reveal the keys to success and longevity in the beauty industry, and most importantly, have fun while doing it. You ready? Hey, what's up? It's your best friend in beauty, Arfree Woodard. Welcome back to another episode of the Friends in Beauty podcast. I am so happy to have you here, and I hope you're listening to this episode in high spirits and in good health. Now, on this episode of the Friends in Beauty podcast, I welcome the creator of hair sprinkles, Amber Mimz, to the Friends in Beauty guest chair. Artist, creative entrepreneur, educator, and so much more embody Amber Mimz. She is a native Washingtonian, graduate of Duke Ellington School of the Arts, and BFA degree holder from the New School University. Amber has taken her creative pursuits and turned them into her own world, considering herself an artist completely. As a recording, performing, and touring artist, she will also create in various ways, from making jewelry to artistic direction. And in 2012, this led to one of her best friends asking her to help style a shoot. She shared the Bead Cap style done by Anu Prestonia, worn by Alfree Woodard in the Spike Lee classic Crooklyn, as inspiration for her look. Her goal at the moment was to deliver for her best friend, of course, and recreate as best as she could. After a long night of experimentation, ingenuity, and past creative experiences, Hair Sprinkles was born. Amber worked in her sister's salon, honing what became Hair Sprinkles on various hair types, styles, texture, and client needs, perfecting tools, materials, and adornment types for so many different kinds of women. She was always asked to teach and or share her talents for hair sprinkles, and by 2018, she did just that. By creating a certificate program, she has certified over 24 other small business owners, stylists, and creatives in the first 2 years of the workshop, and was recognized by WeDC as an innovative business and began working with the Smithsonian Hirshhorn Museum as an arts facilitator. In 2023, she directed her second museum activation, this time with the Academy Museum in Los Angeles, California, to launch their Regeneration Summit exhibition, highlighting the Black Glamour era. Now celebrating 11 years in business, Amber is excited to enter a new era of hair art and education. Oh my God, y'all. Like, I'm totally summarizing her amazing bio because sis is out here doing the damn thing, okay? I had such a wonderful, open and transparent conversation with Amber. If you listen to a previous episode, you know that this is our second time recording this because the first time tech was not on our side. So I definitely had to do it again to bring y'all the quality and the story to highlight my girl, Amber. I have hair sprinkles, and I always tease and tell Amber that she has been the source of my daily compliments for 2 years because I always get stopped and complimented on my hair sprinkles every time I go out. I even had the pleasure of modeling for her brand, so this conversation was really special to me. In this interview, Amber shares all about the hair sprinkles story and everything you need to know about hair sprinkles, challenges with developing the brand and shady mentors, how she feels about knockoff hair sprinkles that she sees out in the streets, why she ventured into education, her dream hair sprinkle clients that she would love to adorn, her experience with working with the Academy Museum in Los Angeles, the future of hair sprinkles, and so much more. This is such a relatable and real conversation of what goes into creating and staying committed to growing a brand for over a decade. I even had the pleasure of attending the 10-year anniversary dinner for Hair Sprinkles, and It was amazing. It was lit. Make sure you check out my recap on Instagram. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump into this chat with Amber. And if you prefer to watch our beautiful faces, then tune in on YouTube. Enjoy. Welcome to the Friends in Beauty podcast, Amber.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Girl, I'm excited to have you because you already know we're going to chop it up. I already told people, I think I had already mentioned it in the episode before, like this is our second time attempting this interview. We're going to be transparent about it.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, because I feel like we had a great conversation the last time. It just means that it's going to be even better this time.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And me and Amber go way back, like a few years ago. So we can have some fun.
Yes.
So before we get started, I like to start off with icebreaker questions just to get us warmed up. And so the Friends in Beauty audience can get to know you outside of what you do for your brand. So first one, just give us 3 random facts about you.
Okay, 3 random facts. I am a native Washingtonian, born and raised in DC.
DC proper.
Yes, Southeast DC, born and raised proper from the city. Let's make that clear. I have a twin. I have a twin brother. I'm a fraternal twin, I should say. So I have a twin brother. And what else? 3 random facts. I'm a business owner. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm an artist and entrepreneur. Yes. All around creative. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I think I just learned that you had a twin maybe like last year, maybe. I feel like really I didn't know that. I was like, she has a twin. I need to see what your brother looks like. We look similar. I would say we look similar. I mean, he has locks too. His aren't, blonde, but we definitely look alike. We probably looked more alike when we were younger. That is so cool. Okay. Did you all have to do do y'all have like that sibling or that twin? Everybody, that's people's favorite question to ask. We don't have like telekinesis or anything like that, but I've found over the years, like when we talk, we definitely have kind of go through the same things around the same time, which is interesting. So experiencing, even if it's like shifts in your career, shifts in your relationships, like things that you like learn about yourself, we tend to kind of go through those things literally like around, if not at the same time. Like when we check in with each other, it's like, what, that's happening, or you're experiencing that right now too. So that, I think that is the sibling or twin thing that we might, have most alike. Because obviously our birthdays are on the same day, but everything that happens from a astrological, point of view would definitely impact me the same way that it would probably impact him. So I think that might, have something to do with our connection for sure. Who's older? He is. Okay. About 4 minutes. We're 4 minutes apart. Okay. Next one. What is your favorite international travel destination? Because I know you like to travel. Ooh, my favorite. I mean, I've definitely enjoyed all of the different places I've gotten the opportunity to travel to. But I would probably say it's between 2 places right now, maybe. So Mexico and Milan, Italy. I recently got a chance to go there and I really, really liked it. I wish I could have stayed longer. I think that would have impacted my experience a little bit more. But Mexico, I've been several times to different parts of Mexico. So I do enjoy Mexico. I like Mexico City. I like the beach. So I like that I've been able to experience that culture the most. And Frida Kahlo is like one of my favorite artists. So I think might lean more towards Mexico, but okay. Milan is very, very just like, pretty, but it gives you that city that you're looking for, that city edge, that definitely like the fashion and all that kind of stuff is really cool. So it's, I guess, between those 2. Do you speak any Spanish or Italian? Child, I should by now speak something. I don't. I'm embarrassed to say that I do not speak any Spanish. I probably have just a tiny, tiny bit that I couldn't even, honestly, nobody should ever ask me that question because the tiny bit that I do, get around with is like nothing. It's nothing. Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Oh, good. I have these things, these pod decks. I have
Oh,
it.
nice.
What the heck and the would you rather? They have these interesting questions inside.
Ooh.
Which one would you like?
What the heck and would you rather?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with would you rather.
Yay! Would you rather? People always choose what the heck, and I'd be like, what the heck? Always choose, but these questions be
What the
interesting.
heck just seems too ambiguous for me. Would you rather? I don't know. I feel like it might be all right.
Interesting. Would you rather? I feel like I know your answer, but would you rather appear as a guest on your favorite TV show or have lifetime backstage passes for any concert you attend?
You already know the answer to that. Lifetime backstage passes.
Mm,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hands down. There's no competition.
yeah,
Yeah.
for any concert you attend. So I would
Yeah, what?
definitely.
Absolutely. I mean, it's such a different vibe backstage, a different experience. And I mean, you get to see the show, obviously, but you kind of feel like VIP. You can pop in and watch the show from the audience, or you can slide into the back and hang out with everybody, talk, get to kind of, engage with the performers and whoever else might be, if it's somebody singing, musicians, whatever. Like I like that aspect of it. So
Mhm.
yeah.
I agree. I agree. What do people always tell you that you're good at aside from what you do creatively?
Ah, oh, well, I do have quite a few like different creative outlets and just creative, I would say, lanes. So from, hair sprinkles to music and like art curation, not like I'm a painter, but like organizing things in that regard. I would say that what people think that I'm good at or say that I'm good at is like branding, marketing, maybe,
Okay.
um, organizing. I would say that for sure. Um, Yeah, those are the things I can think of. Maybe outside of business related, maybe advice, like being able to give like a good perspective. So I'm not like, this is what I think you should do, but here's some additional perspective to consider in your process of whatever it is that you're trying to figure out.
Mhm.
And being a neutral party, kind of non-judgmental.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I would say that.
Okay, that's cool. I like that. When is the last time that you did something for the first time?
The last time that I did something for the first time, mm, mm, I guess flying to Italy would be the last time I did something for the first time. And I went and met my best friend there. So I traveled, alone and met her there and flew back home.
Mhm.
So that would be the last time I did something for the first time. I've never flown to Europe alone. I've definitely flown alone, but not to Europe.
Did you have a layover somewhere?
Yeah, and that was weird. I had a layover in where was that? Like uh was it like a Swiss country of some sort? I can't
Oh,
remember where. Um but it wasn't that long, but because of the time change, I was very confused. I honestly didn't even know how long my flight was, or how long my travel was going to be until I got on the plane and was talking to like the person sitting next to me. She was going to Florence and I was going to Milan. And so she was just explaining how it takes this long to get here, so it's only going to take you this long to get here. I was like, oh, really? And I'm thinking it's going to be further taking longer, but definitely had a layover. It was definitely it threw me off. It was very weird, but I was fine. But then once I got there, the language barrier really kicked in because everything was in Italian. Everybody was speaking Italian. It was hard to you're like looking for, oh, all I gotta do is find my driver when I get to Terminal B. That shit don't say Terminal B. Like, you're trying to find stuff and you're relying on your like way of communicating and getting around in the States and just assuming, like, I see why people say, I hate to say it, but dumb American, silly American. It's like, you think you could just, oh, I'll be, whatever, and not know the language. It really shows, and it really can impact, your travel. I didn't have a terrible experience by far, but that getting off of the plane and trying to find where the driver was and, which way to go, all of those little things that you take for granted, it for sure like kicked in.
I can imagine. I feel like that's why a lot of people, especially Americans, need to travel more internationally, because I feel like we'll be a lot more compassionate to when we come into
travelers,
foreign, like to this country, like we'll be a little bit more compassionate when they're trying to speak our language, and they could speak their language, of course, fluently, but imagine to other people trying to speak their language. You probably sound just like how they sound trying to speak English. So
sounding crazy.
Makes you a little bit more compassionate.
Definitely. Absolutely.
And the last one, if you weren't the creator of hair sprinkles, is there anything else you can see yourself doing right now?
Yeah, definitely. My first love is music, so I could definitely see myself continuing to make music, perform, be on stage. I could also see myself directing. I love to kind of take concepts and make them come to life, if it's like through a photo, if it's through some type of motion moving picture, if it's art directing, like I love to do that type of stuff, creative directing. So I could see myself doing those types of things. I keep saying, like, I feel like in my next life, I could be like an interior designer or like a movie director, something like that, that is still very creative, but not necessarily in front of the camera.
Yeah. Okay. What kind of music do you do?
Like soul music. Yeah, soul music. So I songwrite, produce. I'm a performer, but the genre was definitely very, very soulful, very sexy, very sultry.
Okay. I want to see you perform one day.
Yeah, you got to come out. I got to have another show. I'm thinking about doing something actually in the backyard of my shop. So I will definitely let you know.
The summer's about to be big.
Yeah, we have enough space. I definitely have the network and, support to be able to like really create a nice performance space outside, bringing in, sound and a stage or something. So I'm gonna figure it out. I think this will be my next summer project.
Okay, I look forward to it. So, in a few words, how would you, because I can't say like one word, but in a few words, like how would you sum up your entrepreneurial journey with hair sprinkles?
In a few words, fun, very, what's the word? Not planned, unsuspecting. Like this wasn't really my plan, if I'm honest. So fun, unplanned, and I would say enlightening. Very enlightening. I've learned so much. It's last November made it 10 years.
Wow.
Since I've had this business, since I started Hair Sprinkles. So I've learned so much and have just, grown and pivoted and, expanded. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Those
so
are the
cool.
words.
And if y'all are wondering, like, what are hair sprinkles? These are hair sprinkles. I have them in my hair, as you can see.
Yes.
Tell Amber, like, you have been the source of my daily compliments from strangers.
Oh, great. Great. I have some mine are so it's so light in here, but
Yeah.
they're in there. They're all over the place.
Like,
Mhm.
it's not, if it's not every day, it's every other day. Somebody's like, oh, I like your hair. What is that? What is, I even had a lady the other day, she little white lady that I know, but she was like, oh my God, I just touched a Black girl's hair. But oh my God, I just had to see like what this was. But like, I get compliments constantly on my hair sprinkles every single time that I go out the house. So I have to thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you. And I have to thank you. I've definitely had at least maybe one or two people who've come and it was like, do you know Queen? I was like, oh,
Nice.
great to have those. I mean, I get a lot of referrals, but to actually like know who's referring these people is always just like, I love it. I love to see it.
And sidebar, like after our last conversation, I went to the doctors like either like that same week or the following week. And the lady that was taking my blood, she had like a bonnet on, but she started like complimenting me, oh, you got hair sprinkles. I said, yeah. She's like, who did your hair sprinkles? I was like, Amber. She's like, oh, I know Amber. Her name is
Uh,
her name is Bobby. She said she knows you and
Probably Egypt.
yeah, probably
Mhm.
Egypt. But she's like, yeah, I know them. I was
Yeah.
like, this is a small world. Like, this is
Small
crazy.
world. I mean, in hair and beauty in DC, you're definitely gonna run into the same people, even if you don't like, you might know them through other people. And I definitely get, and shout out to my sister, like major shout outs to my sister. I definitely know a lot of people well, I won't say a lot, enough, some in the, hair community through her.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Nice. Okay. So were you a creative as a child? Like, what did you want to be as a child?
Um, as a child, I don't think I like super young. I don't think I knew exactly what I wanted to be.
Mhm.
Um, I was definitely creative. I grew up in my parents were entrepreneurs as well. My dad was a goldsmith, and my mom was very much the business side of their business together, which was called Sun Gallery Goldsmiths. And so I definitely on weekends would be there. Even like getting older, you could, help out a little bit. But my brother and I were very, very young when they first had their business. So I would be there. We had my mom, I should say, she started an arts collective called 1800 Belmont Arts. So it was the jewelry store was here, and then it was connected to like the tall brownstone. This is in Adams Morgan. So
I was
they
about to
got the
say, I feel like I've
brownstone.
seen that gallery before. Like when I
This
was
was
young.
ages ago. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe when you were younger. This was a long time ago, in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
So, well, the jewelry store in the 80s, but the 1800 Belmont Arts was in the 90s, and so that entire building was filled with artists, different types of artists, and so there were fashion designers, there were people who were making cards, people who were creating like home decor, all kinds of different stuff. My mom had a video store called Video Black that was in that same building. So every weekend it was always something, whether it was an event, somebody launching something. So I would spend my weekends there. I definitely would be like drawing in somebody's like studio. I have an aunt who was there at that time. I used to always like be in the studio with her. So yes, to answer your question, definitely very creative growing up. And then by the time I got to middle school, I knew I wanted to sing.
Okay.
And no, I wanted to act. And I had to audition I think we talked about this before, audition for a program at Duke Ellington I wanted to go to in the summertime. And they required that you sing and act, like for your audition. So I sang in the audition. I used to sing around the house, but I didn't really think like much of it. And so from that program, they had me singing instead of acting. And that was when I was like, okay, well, I want to sing. I want to be a singer. And so that was the trajectory since then.
That is so cool. And I told you last time, I definitely know that we would have crossed paths at some point because I went to the same summer camp
Yeah.
And I was considering going to Duke Ellington for high school, but I went to Banneker instead. But now in like hindsight, I'm like, dang, I should have went to Duke Ellington, because I feel like my creativity, or just as a creative, it would have been nurtured and I would have known where I wanted to be a lot sooner. But I still ended up.
I was about to say, you still ended up, and I was about to say, I definitely went there, and look, we're in the same, we're here doing your podcast. So, you know, everything happened just as it was supposed to. You know, that environment is definitely a great place to be. But I think after leaving Ellington and even continuing to do art school after high school, I went to the New School and studied jazz and contemporary music. So I was still in a like very close community within the arts. It took a little while, even after college, to like really, you know, kind of see the world as a different place that's not just this arts incubator. So I think either side is really beneficial, especially, you know, because you just end up where you're going to be anyway.
That's so true. Just take a different route.
Yeah.
What was your relationship with hair? So your family, they did jewelry arts.
Right.
What was your relationship with hair?
My sister did hair. So my sister does hair. And so my initial relationship with hair was sitting on the floor getting my hair done. My sister would do my hair. And whatever she was doing is what I was doing. My mom didn't do my hair. That was not her thing. She didn't do my hair or my sister's hair. But my sister was really into it very, very young. So she's literally been doing my hair my whole life. I know. Shout out to my sister Egypt. So that was my first initial like intro into, you know, just what happens, you know, with that type of relationship. You begin to it becomes just like a way of people coming together. It's consistent. You're trusting this person. I'm super grateful for having her in my life and having her be the person who, you know, just initiated whatever type of my hair experience would be for me. Because I've definitely heard very horrible stories about just like, you know, people even feeling bad about their, you know, African texture, and just not really wanting to learn more, be, you know, themselves because of what their hair, how hard it might have been to manage it, all those different types of things. So she was definitely my intro into it. Then she started to do hair professionally at a hair salon, probably when I was in like, I want to say I had to have been I think I was in high school. I was in high school by the time she was at a salon doing hair professionally. And she's always done natural hair. So she was definitely, I would say for sure, in DC, especially like, you know, kind of one of the first few people who were really cultivating that like lock community, starting people's locks, you know, if this is 2023, over 20 years ago by now. Wow. Really starting that kind of institution, then playing around with the styles of it, getting really like into, you know, I know for sure making locks look the same way hairstyles would look if you had loose hair. Right. Because a lot of people kind of, you know, in the beginning would associate locks as like this dirty kind of thing, or this like unkept, or, you know, it can't be modern. It has to really look like, you know, very Afrocentric all the time. Mm-hmm. And she was always very, very innovative, always into like, you know, the healthiness of it, all of those things. So those were honestly my first introductions to it. Throughout my journey. And I had have an aunt who actually used to do bead caps. So that's how hair sprinkles really kind of came into play. She did this bead cap on my sister, and there's a picture of my sister. I wish I had it so I could just put it up on the screen. But there's a picture of her when she was probably about 7, and I think she was like modeling for something, I don't know. But that picture I'd seen around my house since forever. So that is a really like, embedded image in my mind. So that was a part of the inspiration behind hair sprinkles.
I love that. I got to see the picture. You got to send me the picture.
I gotta find it. I'll send it to you.
Yeah,
If
send
you
it to me. I'm gonna post
pop
it.
it in or something. Yeah.
Like,
I'll
fun fact,
definitely send
y'all,
it
for
to
the
you.
podcast listeners, I met Amber first. Yes, I met you first, and I always used to see Egypt. Like, when I came to get my hair sprinkles, I saw Egypt. Then I did the photo shoot. I was a model
Yes.
for Amber for a hair sprinkle.
Yes. That was so fun.
So I will always see Egypt, but now Egypt and I work together for Love and Marriage DC. So it's been kind of cool to like go from like just
Yeah.
seeing her around to like form that relationship with her as well. She's really dope. So shout out to Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta see that picture now though.
I'm going to send it to you. I know I have it somewhere. If it's not, I don't know where. It's got to be on my computer because it's in my workshop. So I know I have it. I know I
Okay.
have it.
Yeah, so the inspiration or like the idea for hair sprinkles, just it's always been around you, obviously. So
Yeah, which is very interesting. I know, like before when you asked for those 3 words that could describe your business or your journey, and I'm saying like unplanned, like it truly was unplanned. Like, and seeing that image around so much, so often, and having like, this very natural and secure confidence about natural hair
yeah.
um, has always been like just a part of my lifestyle. Like even having like when I mentioned like the artistic upbringing with my parents and the arts collective that they had, a lot of those people in that space during that time had locks or natural hair. So it
Mhm.
was always, it was always something that was around. Um, I never ever felt like my hair wasn't like good enough, so to speak, or that it needed to be something that it wasn't. I used to wear braids a lot. My mom definitely used to get my hair done and put it in braids, and I used to have like a little braid bob,
I
or
remember those.
as I got older, like longer braids. So it was definitely an easy transition.
Had you ever had like a perm or anything before?
Yeah, I had a perm, but not for long. I had a perm for probably about, I want to say middle school, like maybe like 7th grade might have been when I got my first perm.
Mhm.
And I had it through high school, but I got braids a lot in high school. I don't know, I probably like was just overdoing my hair so much. And then by the time I graduated, I went back natural.
Got you. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So when was the first time that you actually tried out the hair sprinkle? Like what was it that made you try out the actual hair sprinkles technique on somebody or on yourself? Like what was the first time you actually attempted it?
So it honestly all came about because my one of my best friends, she was preparing for a photo shoot, and she had sister locks. At the time she had sister locks. And she sent me a photo of, well, first she asked me, could I help her, like help style her, like help figure out her look for this photo shoot. I was like, yeah, sure. So she sends me, we're going back and forth like via text of just like different ideas. She sends me a photo of Alfree Woodard in the movie Crooklyn when she had her hair in that bead cap. And it took me right back to the picture in my house of my sister. So when I saw it, I was like, ooh, this is so dope. I knew what her hair was. It was sister locks. And I'm like, but your hair, this is 2 different things. Like, that's going to be really, it's going to be hard to try to like emulate that or to try to do that on your hair. And I had, like I mentioned before, an aunt who actually did those V caps.
Yeah.
So, when she sent me that photo, I'm thinking, well, how can I emulate this to that? So that's where that whole let me figure this thing out came from. We went to a craft store, and I was just like immediately drawn to these pearls. I knew I didn't want to go to like a beauty supply store because I didn't want the like, wooden beads or like really like plastic ones that, you know, most of the time kids might wear at the end of their ponytails and stuff like that. Because of what she sent me, I knew I'm like, you know, going for something feminine. So that's literally how it came. It was like, let me see how I can figure out how to copy this particular look for her or for this particular type of hair. And at the time, I want to say I was also like making bags. I was sewing, like making like keyboard bags. I needed a bag to carry my keyboard in. I have a portable keyboard. So I was making a bag. I used to like redo like jean skirts. So I knew how to sew. I used to work with my godmother in, she has an African clothing business. So I used to work with her in the summertime and work with her. You know, she'd teach me different techniques. So a lot of the stuff I use, I got from her. Especially when it comes to utilizing like small things on rough textures. Cause a lot of her stuff is, she uses like a lot of linen. She uses like stiff materials. It's not like all just like, let me use cotton or let me use something that's, you know, super malleable. So a lot of that stuff just, I don't know, it came in handy in trying to emulate this look.
This is so fascinating to me because I read this book before called Outliers, and it basically is just a story about like just the things that we don't realize is around us, or like other people's, like the things that lead up to people's success over time. Like just the fact that you had that picture around the creativity that you've been around, the fact that you knew how to sew, like all of these things that you already had in you that kind of led to the development of like this fantastic decade.
Yeah.
Like, we don't even realize. Sometimes we look at people and be like, how did they get here? Or like, they just got lucky. But I'm like, no, like it's literally these little things that have been in your life
It was
this whole
all
entire
little
time.
things, all
That's
inspiration, all inspiration, all inspiration. That's
that
literally.
mind blowing.
Yeah.
I love it. Where did the name Hair Sprinkles come from?
Oh man. So the name came from the Sprinkles cupcakes.
Okay.
So I was in the salon one day, and this was when I was at my sister's salon. And my friend Sharmika, I just was actually talking to her. I had like some in my hair, and they were very pronounced. I had a lot of them in my hair at the time. And this was still like in the early days. So it was like super, what's the word? Like they were all very kind of like close together, which is something I don't advise to my students now. But this again was early days of, you know, just figuring everything out or just trying stuff out for an extended period of time, seeing how it wears, all of that kind of stuff. So she was like, oh, that kind of looked like sprinkles on a cupcake. We used to go to Sprinkles, the cupcake place, all the time. Like if we had a break or extended break, you know, that was just something we would run and go do. But when she said it, I was like,
Are you smart?
that's what this is. That's what this needs to be called. Because before that, I was calling it like lock jewelry. I was calling it hair jewels. I feel like that was it. But this was like years, like before I was even public doing it. So this might have been like in the first year of it, still calling it, you know, just hair jewels, whatever. It wasn't like a full-on thing. But when I got that like aha moment, it was hair sprinkles to the day I die. That's how it was like embedded. That name was super catchy. Hair sprinkles was very catchy. And now a lot of people call it lock sprinkles because, you know, it's popular in locks, but the name comes from hair sprinkles. And that's where all of this, like the using that term came from, that sprinkles cupcake.
I'll never forget the first time that I saw it. I was at an event. I think it was actually at the Brown Beauty Co-op. And I was
I
think they had just opened. It might have been like their opening event. And I saw a girl there. I know we follow each other, but I cannot think of her name for the life of me. I know her when I see her, but she had hair sprinkles. And I was like, I guess the same thing people do to me now. Like, oh my
Yeah.
God, like what is that? And hers were white. She had like
Oh,
she's a
nice.
light-skinned girl, but she had like brownish blonde locks, and her hair sprinkles were white at the time. And I was like, what is that? And that's how I found you, because she was like, these are hair sprinkles. I was like, hair
Oh,
what?
nice.
Instagram. And I was like, oh yes, definitely going to do this one day for sure. And I got mine's done like 2 years ago, like on the day before my
Yeah.
birthday 2 years ago. So they've been rocking
Yeah.
and rolling. My cat be chewing them out sometimes, but
Oh my gosh, not chewing them out.
he be chewing them out. But yeah, what was I going to ask you? Oh yes, like when did you realize though, like after practicing on yourself, you came up with the name Hair Sprinkles and everything. When did you realize like I think I might have something like really dope like at my fingertips and I need to start like making this a thing?
Ooh, um, when did it happen? I think so it's kind of twofold. I was honestly, initially, it wasn't something that I was like I'm saying, wasn't very like, I would say it wasn't on social media a lot. Um, it was very word of mouth because I was already in a very at my sister's salon. So she had clientele and I definitely developed my base from her clientele.
Okay.
So I wasn't quite like um promoting it and stuff like that. I was still trying to like figure things out, I guess. And then just enjoying doing it. But I would say when people started coming to her salon just for me that weren't her clients,
Yeah.
that was when it kind of started to like pick up, like, okay. And this, I'm sure by this time I probably had to have been doing some sort of promotion for it to be that consistent.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had a client who came in and she was like doing some kind of like blogging at the time. She well, not some kind of, because at that time blogging wasn't what it is now.
Yeah.
So it was very early on in that game. And she was blogging. She did like a blog of her experience. I didn't talk in the blog or anything like that, but she just showed what she got like at the end of it. And I wasn't familiar with like, her following or anything like that. But once she put that on her YouTube page, it just kind of like spread like wildfire.
Yeah.
And so from there, I was like, oh, wait a minute, this is overwhelming, because then it turned into, yeah, a lot of people seeing it, but also a lot of people DIYing it. And I initially didn't really like that. I'm gonna be honest. Like it just felt like, you know, you you do something and you want people to to patronize you. You want people to respect your creativity, because at the core of me, I'm an artist. So I'm, like they say, I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit. I'm sensitive about my shit, and I'm a
Right.
sensitive person too. So initially, that amount of like eyes on what that is, or what it, on hair sprinkles at that time, was just, it was very overwhelming for me. I backed up. I didn't even like really get on YouTube with it or anything like that. So it did the opposite for me internally. I was very much like okay with being a performer and sharing my music and doing things that way, but this in some ways felt like somebody was almost taking something from me, because it wasn't her fault that she publicized it. She enjoyed what she done, but the way that the internet can be, I would say, and people want to try what they see. Like
Mhm.
that's nature. But it just initially felt very like, made me very anxious, like, oh my gosh, like, what's going on? Like, what is this thing? Why is this happening like this? And then over the years, I just like, I had to start combating it. I had to start like, speaking up and being vocal about, hey, it's me. You know what I mean? Like not getting afraid of the spotlight in that way, because I'm very comfortable with it in numerous other ways. So I had to kind of shift the narrative and be, grateful that, although there is a DIY community of it, there are also within that, they know who created it. They know who, what is, who it's inspired by, all of those things. So it's like twofold, I should say.
Yeah, I definitely understand that. It's like your baby. So when you see people kind of like taking it and running with it, like just make sure you know who the original source is.
Yeah. And I mean, now as an educator, so I that happened. Then some other things happened, which were really interesting. For long story short, I definitely had somebody who completely bit me in the ass. And it was somebody who was like in the hair industry who is, she was doing like celebrities and stuff like that. I had formed a relationship with her. And so she basically attempted or did her version on somebody else and never gave me credit. Yeah, it was very, very not cool. And she went so far as to say, like, and I reached out to her and I'm like, hey, like, I see the work that you've done, or I see what you're doing. And she and I shared, which was interesting. She and I thought shared this like connection of, you're creative, you've started something, and in many ways have felt like people have copied or bitten off of you, or just felt taken advantage of in a certain regard. But then you kind of turn around and do it to me. And I called her out on it, because I don't know how to not do that. And she went so far as to tell me that I'm not influential. No one is influenced by you. I'm not influenced. Like, yeah. Oh yeah. She went in.
Oh,
She tried to break my
the
spirit.
boldness.
Yeah, she tried to break my spirit. And I think that, I don't normally share this story with a lot of people, because initially I'm like, that's, that's distasteful. But I think people need to know the full scope and the full journey. I'm learning that a lot of people don't know a lot about me, and don't know a lot about like everything that goes into the things, not just me, but other artists go through to produce and put out worthy, good, not content art. Because that's what we've turned art into, content, but it starts as art first. No matter how you receive it, it's art first. So I think that it's important for me to just, to speak up and let also people know that, it doesn't like that backbiting type of stuff. It doesn't only happen in the corporate world. It happens in the art world. It happens in, in different industries. I'm super grateful for like my community, my close-knit family and friends who, continuously support me and things like that. But it's people out here who aren't what they put themselves what you perceive them to be. You look at the follower count and you see all of these amazing things that they're doing, or how they might be, front facing, engaging from that standpoint. But everybody is not as genuine. Everybody is not as as nice as they might seem. And that's the harsh reality of it. At the time when all of that stuff happened, I was furious, but it made me put my workshop out. Right. It made me get my shit together. Sorry, my French, but it made me like, stop holding on to this thing. I was so nervous, and it was like, why? You have this gift, share it with the world. Like, what are you doing? So that was the fire that literally burnt the shit out my ass and said, put this workshop out, get this together, like get it, figure out what it's going to be, and really work to make it a great experience for people because of what I'm able to share by providing this service. I never wanted it to be from an educational or if I'm, giving something, whatever. I never wanted it to be, oh, hey, here's the stuff, the tools that I have, you go ahead on and do whatever you want. I was really invested in the experience of Hair Sprinkles, the exchanges that I had managed to have. So I started in 2012. I didn't put the workshop out until what year is this? 2023. So maybe like 2017, I think.
Mm-hmm.
No,
So 18,
20, yeah, something. Yeah, somewhere around that time is when I first put the workshops out. This was before it being online. It was always in person. So that moment is what made me like shift gears and say, all right, never again. Like I don't want anybody to ever make me feel like I'm less than again. I don't want anybody to ever, to even go so far as to say you're not inspiring.
That's so rude. Like, who are you supposed to be? Like that. I think that is so,
You, right.
that's
Like
crazy.
clearly I am because you literally
Stole it.
yeah, and it's trying to like gaslight me on some shit like, well, she brought it in or she showed me something that she saw on YouTube. Yeah, we went down this road before. We went down this road about, YouTube and like no diss to YouTube or YouTubers or even a DIY community, no diss to that at all. But in the same way that I felt like, oh, that is a kind of feeling of something being taken, but then realizing, oh, this is a great thing, especially considering people are connecting the two, or saying under their videos inspired by the creator of Hair Sprinkles, Amber Mimz. Why would that be so hard for you to do?
Right. But I guess, people will be revealed along the journey. So that person was just supposed to be revealed. So she wouldn't stick around for too long, throughout the process. Like she had to go. I'm going to say goodbye to my people on Instagram Live real quick. Make sure y'all tune into the rest of this interview when it drops. Peace. But yes, that is a crazy thing. And I'm sure like with the recognition that it was getting on YouTube with her doing that, did you already have Hair Sprinkles trademarked, or did that like lead you to
at that time I think I was working on it because no, at that time I didn't. By the time I put the workshop out, I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now I own both. I own Hair Sprinkles and Loc Sprinkles. So just a just a
Cover all
friendly
bases.
reminder, don't try to start marking stuff up because
Yes. I love that. She covered all bases.
yeah, I mean, and that I will say, although that experience was very just heartbreaking, honestly, because it was somebody that I thought I was, I could trust and who I felt I was building this like mentor mentee type of relationship with. So that was very like disappointing. But it made me cover my bases. It made me get better on my business stuff. It made me like, just not take for granted what I do create all across the board.
Yeah.
Like, don't, it taught me to not diminish my creativity, not to diminish the innovator that I am, because it took me a while to be able to like, even articulate that out loud. Like it's okay for other people to say all of these, great things about you, but if you don't believe them, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
So that was one of those things that was very eye-opening and made me grow up in a way that I didn't, I guess I, hadn't experienced before. So
Yes.
although it hurt, I'm grateful for it.
Yeah, sometimes we need that push and we never know how that push is going to come, but it worked.
Yeah.
So we're glad that it worked because here we are.
Yes, absolutely. Because here we are.
Yeah. So tell the people, I know the answer, but tell them, how long do the hair sprinkles last?
So hair sprinkles will last a minimum of 9 months up to 2 years.
Okay.
A lot of people have them longer than that. They will grow out with your hair. You can continue to do all of your regular hair routines. So your shampoos, your treatments, even color. What else? If you're active, you can continue to do all of your activities. This is literally what I say every single day to my clients. I have a lot of new clients all the time, so I'm very used to like explaining. So if you are active, you can continue to do all of your activities. You shouldn't experience any hair sprinkles just falling out of your hair, but they will grow out with your hair. They will over time, some of them just from like routine maintenance, from the oils in your hair, from oxidation, sun, water, all kinds of things. You will over time experience them maybe loosening up, or certain ones might fade in color. But overall, they will last a considerable amount of time.
Can you take them out?
You can take them out. I take mine out probably if I have like something like special occasion. Like sometimes I like to redo mine around my birthday, or try out different like styles, or try out different materials if I get new materials in. By materials, I'm referring to like the actual types of adornments, if it's like gold, or if it's going to be, I love 14 karat gold. I just got some 14 karat gold. So I tend to change mine out maybe once or twice a year. But yes, you can take them out.
See, if I knew how to do them, I'd be doing like changing minds. I'm just like a creature. I love mine. I like my chakra aligned ones so much.
I'm glad.
I just can't imagine like switching them out. But I feel like if I knew how to do them, I would probably have hair sprinkles all over my head.
Maybe there are people, I do have clients who have a lot of them who, continuously keep coming back and adding to their, previous installation. And then I have some folks who will come back, have them removed and get new ones just to kind of freshen it up. So if you've had them for a few years, it can be time to change them out, and that's totally fine. Yeah.
Switch up the swag, I guess. I could switch up the
Yeah,
swag.
you can switch it up. You can definitely switch it up whenever you're ready, though. But you have had them for 2 years now, so you can keep them for longer and continue to let them grow out. You can add to them if you want to do that, or we can take them out and do something fresh.
Ooh, I'm gonna think about it. What is your creative process when, I guess, determining how you're going to adorn someone's hair? Because even though I have chakra aligned, I've seen other people with the chakra aligned service too, but it looks different. So what is your creative process with like determining like how you're going to like do the thing?
Do the thing. So it honestly depends on the person. I always tell people, especially when they come in and they have seen something on like my Instagram page and they're like trying to find that specific picture, and it's like, this is what I want, before they even like, go into this fury of finding the picture. I definitely let them know like every installation is different. Every single one. I could be using a lot of the same materials and adornments, but it all differs. One, because everybody's hair is different. Although like 90% of the people I service have locks, everybody's locks are different lengths, different sizes, different widths, different the actual like fineness of it, the density of it, all of those things differ. So those things come into play into where I'm going to place them. And then what I receive from the client as well. Like I ask them numerous amounts of questions, not too much, because it can be overwhelming, especially if it's your first time. So I ask them various questions. We have a consultation, and then we kind of go from there. But all of these things too, I realized were a part of the experience. So that I included into my workshop. So when you do take if people are interested, if you take the Hair Sprinkles 101 workshop, it teaches you everything from the consultation method to the installation technique to I dabble a little bit into like, the service and how just like cultivating this experience, how important that is. They kind of go hand in hand. So you definitely know the difference from somebody who is a certified hair sprinkles artist to someone who is just like, oh yeah, girl, I tried for you.
Yeah.
And I've had people come and sit in my chair after they've experienced that, oh yeah, girl, I'll try for you. And, I don't typically go behind anybody's work. So I always remove that previous thing that person tried. And, we kind of go from there. But it's probably about I would say 5 to 10 minute process to determine what is going to be specific to this person, to like, this is your installation.
Yeah, I like that. A unique experience every single time. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Do you have a favorite place that you like to shop for your supplies or your different adornments?
I really enjoy shopping in person versus online. And the thing that I love about shopping in person is finding like little spots when I'm traveling, so I can see like what is, what's happening in another city. The same way, like, I love to find vintage stores and thrift stores. I might look in their like jewelry selection to see what they have, or I'll find like specialty types of adornment spaces, jewelry stores, things of that nature, to be able to see like what they have in their region that I might not have in mine. But that too is in a workshop. I got something for everybody. And I just released that workshop, Resources 103, where I really get into the nitty gritty of materials, like what these things are made out of. My philosophy is teaching you how to fish. So, the phrase, if you teach a man how to fish, or you give a man a fish, he eats for a day. You teach a man how to fish, he eats for a lifetime. That is the philosophy behind this particular workshop, so that you learn everything that I know about resources, everything that I know about, the different types of adornments, different types of, whether it be crystals, whether it be different types of beads, where to get them. I give you like a free downloadable PDF where you can access the ones that I have shopped, or the ones that I personally have vetted, and it will tell you which things to buy from these particular retailers. But my personal favorite is always in person, because I'm a tangible person. I like to touch. I like to hold it up to my hair and see. I like to feel the weight of it, really be able to examine it, read the materials, all of those different types of things.
That sounds like so much fun. Oh my
It
God.
is.
When I was younger,
doing it.
yeah, when I was younger, I used to make jewelry. Like, my mom was a creative. She's an artist, jewelry. What she be doing a whole bunch of creative stuff. But we used to make like earrings and stuff back in the day. So I remember going to like Michael's, or it was another bead store in like DuPont Circle that we used to go to, and that used to just be like so much fun, like going and like,
Yes,
oh, I love it. Oh my gosh,
I love it. I can spend a whole afternoon doing it, for real.
that's fun. So I have a never have I ever question for you.
Okay.
Of course, we're not taking shots like traditionally, never have I ever, but if this has happened to you, you can share the story behind it. If not, what advice would you give? Or you can still share the advice you would give to one of your like certified hair sprinkle artists, like if they see this and how to deal with this. So the question, she's like, the question is, never have I ever personally, like with your own two eyes, seen some like really bad, like bootleg hair sprinkles. Like, have you ever seen it before, like your own eyes, and like what did you do?
I have, and in most cases, sometimes I don't say anything, because I don't like to. I feel like that's a little invasive in some ways, because my initial thought isn't to come over if I see it and it looks horrible. It's not necessarily to say, "Oh, girl, that looks great." Like, if it doesn't, then I won't say that. And I don't, I definitely strongly believe, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. So, but the times that I have, like, say if I'm in conversation with somebody, or if it just happens randomly, whatever, I definitely say to them, if you're interested in getting this service done, this is where you can go. If it's myself, or if they're, in another city, whatever, giving them the website so they can check and find somebody in their region.
Yeah.
What I would suggest to my artists, to my certified artists, a lot of times what's interesting, they have better responses than me. I think because I'm like so, it's so a baby of mine still. They are, they'll, if they see, or at least what I've heard, secondhand, is that they will, say to the person, oh, where did you get that done? Or did you go to this place? Or did you go to this person? And then we'll kind of give the story, which I love. I'm glad that they, know the history to be able to kind of, share that with people when they see them and meet them, and then kind of are able to kind of sell themselves, so to speak. Like if it's somebody that, is in their region or neighborhood, or however you want to, categorize it, you can gain a client that way by just even being able to like kind of, flip it, as opposed to it being like, oh girl, who did that? But like, oh, who did that? It's all in how you say it.
The tone, like, oh girl, who did that? Oh, who
Yeah.
did
Right.
I love it. Okay. Like, how many, well, first of all, I want to say, if you are interested in hair sprinkles and you want to learn, just go ahead and invest in the course so that you're doing it the right way. Because Amber has lots of certified artists. Like, how many certified artists do you just about have now?
So I had to do something the other day. Well, maybe it was like a couple of weeks ago. I was working on a grant. And I think I'm up to about 24, so 20 something. And I know that we're definitely in at least like 14 cities, 11 states.
Mhm.
So I haven't, and I do have some people who recently were certified. So recently, I would say within like the last, what is this now, May? So in the last probably like 4 months or so, I typically like update the list at least like once a quarter, maybe at the least twice a year. So I haven't updated it yet. I do know I have a few people from this last season who have completed their certification. So it's growing. That online piece is what really changed the game. So starting it in 2018, it was all in person. 2018, it couldn't have been 2018. When did I have my studio space? I used to have a studio space in like 2016, 2017. So yeah, maybe it was 2017, 2018, because I was definitely doing services there, and I taught my very first workshop in that studio space, and I left there in 2018. So anyway, trying to do the math in my head. Then when the pandemic hit is when I transitioned to online. And I was very nervous. Like I really at first I was like, I can't do this online. It's so detailed. It's so, close. It's so, and close, like literally like what I'm showing you is very close up. And people will get so much rich content in the in-person workshops, but I had to figure out how to translate that. So what helped me was I was also doing programs for the Hirshhorn Museum. And we had to switch to doing things online like everybody else. So I started like producing this content for them. And a lot of it was videoing. A lot of it was like segments of like performances, different things. And I was like, well, wait, if I could do that here, I can absolutely figure out how to translate this to my own business. So I took probably like a solid, I would say, because I already had the curriculum, it was just about transferring it to an online type of, space. I probably took about maybe 2 full months and focused only on that. Like I didn't do a whole lot of other things. Thankfully, I had the like privilege to be able to do it. This probably was early on in the pandemic. So that made me sit down and really kind of just like focus on it. So that pivot really changed the landscape of being able to offer it to more people. So the numbers of certified artists for sure grew, like, I mean, times 2 in the first year of for doing it 2 years before, I would, have small workshops. It would probably be about, at the most, maybe 7 or 8 people, and at the least maybe 2. So I was able to like touch so many more people through the online landscape than in person. And I still teach in person, but there's way more people who take it online.
Yeah, I see a convention, a hair sprinkles retreat, like all your artists like
Girl,
linking up. That'd be tight.
that's next. That's next. That is next. I do have a dinner party that I'm planning for my 10-year anniversary. I didn't get to do anything last year. So the plan is to have a party or a dinner experience Memorial Day weekend. So I have tickets that are, up on sale. Yeah, so I'm trying to like, get to that retreat level. I think that this is like the first installment of that, the first way to be able to try to like, have as many people that can make it to be in community, to eat, to have, conversation, and to just like, be
Are
able
the tickets
to
up now?
connect. Yeah, the tickets are up now.
Okay, we're gonna check it out. I told you I'm coming. I gotta see what day it is. Is it like the Saturday or the
Yes,
Sunday?
it's a Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look, I think I was supposed to go to the rose thing, but I ain't buy my ticket yet. I'm gonna come.
Ah,
There's a reason I ain't get my ticket yet. That's why. That's why I
see?
don't for that ticket.
Oh, that happens Memorial Day weekend?
That
I've
rose.
always seen that
I forget what it's called.
something. It's like
Celebrating.
everybody wears pink. Yeah.
And I was like, I don't
And
even
is it like, is it at the MGM? Is that where they
I
have
don't
it?
know where it is. That's how much I don't know about it. I know some of my friends are going, and I ain't get my ticket yet. But
Oh, okay.
I'd rather come to the hair sprinkles dinner party.
Oh, that makes me happy.
Yeah. Tell us, I know in the last few months, I can't remember when it was, but you did a collaboration with the Academy Museum in LA. And I would love for you to share about that experience that you had.
Did I almost that fast forget? That's crazy. So I was invited to basically recreate looks of the early 1900s, hair looks essentially of the early 1900s, when a lot of African Americans were trying to get in the arts, I would say entertainment specifically, get headshots done. We get headshots done like it's nothing these days, but back then that was something that was like the hardest thing to get to help, propel your career, and you want them to obviously be great photos. So the idea was to be able to recreate what they had in their exhibition that was called the Glamour Wall. Our installation was the Glamour Room. So this was for the opening of the exhibition that was called the Regeneration Summit at the Academy Museum. So I went out to LA for probably for like a long weekend. I know I was there. I know the event that I did was 2 days, but I probably stayed maybe about 3 or 4 days. And so the event was like an opening night and then all day, and then the activation itself was recreating those looks like live in person. People could, walk by and see us doing them. It's myself and my sister. So I designed like the looks that we were going to be recreating, but she executed all of the styles, and hair sprinkles were obviously like the main attraction, like the point of reference in terms of like the adornments and stuff that you were seeing in the hair. So yeah, that was like so fun, so exciting. It made me feel like, what? Like, y'all want hair sprinkles in this? Like, and so it was a live photo shoot happening at the same time. So we would be doing their hair. They would get up, the models would get up and go have their photo taken like literally like right in front of us. So it was just an all around creative process. It was a lot of work. I'm sure, like, even if you go to my Instagram and see the photos, it looks like, oh, this is so cute. This is really, this looks great. But it was a lot of planning, months of planning. And, with any type of, especially with institutions and stuff like that, you have to get different things cleared, and you need to like there's a lot of planning. There's a lot of process that happens. And that one was no different than any other, like in terms of like the planning process, anything else I'd ever done, I would say, from like, you know, full on photo shoots to other, you know, museum style, museum installations. So it was a really fun experience. It definitely made me feel like I'm doing the right thing. Because sometimes, you know, you can get like, you know, is this thing going to fade?
Yeah.
Like, or is this, you know, and that can have, you know, that you can be scared sometimes. I know I could be scared sometimes. But that really just made me feel like I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing.
That's
No matter
awesome.
what people have said over the years, you know, I rave about just like the positive things, but there for sure have been instances where people just don't believe in what you're doing, or, you know, you try to, when people ask you, what do you do? Or people ask me, what do I do for a living? It's not like your typical journey or your typical job. So that really made me feel like I'm walking in my purpose.
Oh, that's awesome. And it did look amazing. I think you put up a reel, you showed like the behind the scenes, like the sketches that you did with
Yeah,
and just seeing it come to life like that I know it must have been really exciting.
it was. It's nothing like, you know, seeing something, manifesting something, and seeing it in real life, seeing the fully produced concept and it being what you imagined or better. Because the feeling is what makes it, for me, the feeling is what makes it so much better. You can't plan how you're going to feel. So that was just like such an overwhelming experience. I mean, we got like a tour of the entire museum, like after hours, and got to see the exhibit, and, you know, really got to understand like the connection, I would say, because we had meetings and stuff where it was explained and all of that, but to be able to like be there in the flesh, see what's going on, and, you know, have all of these people who are coming to this exhibit, to this opening, because there was a lot of other activations going on. But the turnout for that event was like incredible. I think that was the first time that they had maybe done something of that magnitude. And being able to like, you know, see all of those people show up, see a lot of celebrities too. It was really cool. It was really cool.
So speaking of celebrities, are there any celebrities or just affluent people that you like want to adorn one day, or like a dream client that you have that you want to do some hair sprinkles on?
Oh, before I even jump into that, definitely got to shout out my girl Ambre. That was somebody, or is somebody, who's for sure been with hair, like pushing, motivating, all of those things. So that was how a part of that that academy experience came to be. Now, in terms of a dream client, Halle Bailey is definitely on the list. Chloe too. I'd love to do Tiana Taylor when she has like faux locks. Who else? I really want to experiment with just like really kind of showing hair sprinkles on different hair types too, because it is hair sprinkles. It's not permanent on loose hair. So I feel like a lot of red carpet looks are, you know, for events. So you can be a little bit more extravagant. You can try different things. Yeah. So even when Janelle Monáe has really great hairstyles, her hairstylist, Nikki, is just so fucking talented. I would absolutely love to work with her. Yeah. I think those are the people on my list. Issa Rae, for sure. Her hairstylist, Felicia Leatherwood, is incredible.
To see the hair sprinkles on the red carpet.
Yeah, that's what I really like. When that happens.
Oh my God.
I don't know. You might not be able to tell me nothing.
Right? Like speak to my, that trending audio is like don't talk to me, talk to this person, we talk to me, talk to that. Yeah. That would
Oh
totally be.
man,
I'd be
that would
so
be.
full of myself.
Oh, I feel like I would be like just so excited, so I don't know, not in a I can't believe this. My mom said that to me one day. She was like, I've never been I can't believe this isn't this is happening to me. It's like, no, why not? This should be happening to you. So I for sure have been like almost training myself to be prepared for those types of moments. Like even with the Academy Museum thing, like it was very like, wow, this is so great. But you're supposed to be here. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's great. Like, what the
Yeah.
fuck are you thinking? Like,
Yeah.
this is, you're in it and you're great. So yes, you're supposed to be here. You are right where you're supposed to be. So I feel like when that happens, it'll be very affirming. It'll be very much like, okay, this is beautiful and amazing, but now how else can we like, take it up a notch? Is it going to be in movies? Can we have it, as a part of like illustrations, like all of these things that just make it endless and more household name? Like I feel like black hair, our natural texture, even if you're just talking about like not locks, but just the natural texture of our hair, now has become a lot more.
I just thought about something. Go ahead.
Oh, it's become a lot more accepted into culture. It's still very hard, but it's becoming a little bit more acceptable. So it's like if locks are acceptable and locks are popular, hair sprinkles are, to me, it can be synonymous with each other.
Yeah, I would tell you after the interview because I want to catch my idea. I just had an idea.
Oh,
I was
that's
like,
right.
I'm gonna remember. I'm gonna remember.
Keep it,
Yes.
keep it. Store it in the back.
I feel
We
like you
talk
could do it.
offline.
I feel like you could do it. But
Oh,
how do you keep yourself in good spirits as an entrepreneur with all of the ups and downs, the side to side, the whirlwinds that we go through?
yeah. Oh, like I said to you when you asked me before I jumped on, how are you? I said, if I really answer that, I might cry. It's hard sometimes. Like, if I can be completely transparent, today has been a horrible day. But I knew I had this and I look forward to it, and Hair Sprinkles brings me joy. So that's all I could focus on. I can't get into, anything else. So what I definitely do is, personally, I'm a huge believer in prayer. I pray a lot. I also meditate. I go to therapy. I like to be active. So if it's like taking a class at the gym or walking around in the neighborhood, working out with like friends, family, um, spending quality time with people who pour into me is
Mhm.
very important. And giving back is a part of what keeps me, um, sane and able to give to my clients, because I mean, I act like I'm saying, it brings me joy, and I want to continue to serve and bring others joy, in this capacity, in this way that I have been blessed to be a vessel. That's honestly a huge way that I look at it too. um Being an artist is a giving thing. So those are the ways that I'm able to kind of like pour into myself. And it is like routine. So it's not like something that I just do every now and then. Like when I first probably started those different journeys in my life, I would say, because all of those different things that I mentioned, from prayer to meditation to therapy, they didn't all, it wasn't like, okay, I've got all these things, this is what I need. Somebody, I'm gonna call
Yeah.
and figure all this stuff out. All of those things came into my life in different ways for different reasons. And I have started to, over the last couple of years, like cultivate like this routine that embodies those things because it's what helps to keep me healthy. Now, when it's the harder days is when it really, kind of kicks in, like what they say about yoga, like your practice really kicks in when, you're not just doing the poses and stuff in class. Like it's in everyday life, how patient you are with people and how giving and all of those things. So on those harder days, days like today, if I'm fully transparent, those are the types of things that I really have to like remind myself of and really have to seek, because I can for sure retreat and not do any of them because I don't feel like it, but God shows up and just makes me present and reminding me of my blessings, my abundance, and that all things are temporary. Everything changes. Even those good feelings that you have, those will change too. So yeah.
Absolutely. Thanks for sharing. Yes, I'm definitely a meditation person. I do yoga
Yeah.
therapy every Thursday with my therapist.
See?
So, gotta keep yourself together to be able to show up for yourself, for
Yeah.
your business, for your clients, for your loved ones. Like you got to take care of yourself. So
It's a lot. It's a lot. And when you are an entrepreneur too, it is, and in my case, I'm a solopreneur. I've actually made my first hire maybe around the time of the academy event. So February, I now have an assistant, which I'm super grateful for.
fancy.
But it took a while for me to get there because in my mind, I'm like, I can do everything. I can do it all. It's fine. I got it. I got it. I got it. And it's like, no. So I'll contract people out for different things, or I have in the past. I don't have anything super specific right now, but having somebody consistent now, having an assistant has been like, what was I doing? Like, why in the world would you put yourself under that much pressure all the time? You are the the thinker of, or the imaginator of your baby, your dreams, whatever it is that you want to see come to fruition. So in order to work from your what they call it, your zone of genius, you got to be able to have other people who have other zones of genius so that it can kind of help help to grow whatever that thing is, whatever that whatever it is that you're doing, not just if you're in beauty, but if you are building a new software platform, or if you have a clothing business, or if you're a restaurateur, like whatever it is, you're going to need help, you're going to need people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This has been such a great conversation, Amber. So at the end of
Oh,
the day, like, what do you want your legacy to be? Especially like with hair sprinkles, or just as an artist or a creative in general. It doesn't even have to be hair sprinkles, but like, what is your legacy that you hope to leave one day?
I hope to leave. That's a really good question. I don't know yet. I think that
And that is
there's
fair.
still room for me to figure that out. Like I I could sit here and say, I wanted to be that, anything. Hair sprinkles brought so many people joy over X amount of years. Like, but that's what's happening now. That's current. That is in the present. Legacy for me is just continuing to be true to myself and hoping that that is what people take away from all of this is you can be you. There's only one you. You can do whatever it is that you want to do. You don't have to stick to one lane. You don't have to just because you started that whatever started doing one thing 5 years ago doesn't mean that you have to just keep doing that same one thing. You can branch out, you can explore, you can continue to be a student, you can be as creative as you want, or you can pour into yourself and just, live softly. Like you can be a nuanced individual. I think that for me is the legacy that I hope to leave. And I hope that, you know, my friends and family learn from that, take that from me. I hope that my nieces, especially my nephews as well, but my nieces for sure, having a good example and role model in their lives to be able to say, you know what, my aunt did that, so I can do, you know, X, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, because there's like, I feel like culturally there's this big thing about, you know, Black excellence, leaving a legacy, leaving, you know, your family and generational wealth. And that's cool. But what about generational health? Like, what about mental, you know, mental capacity? What about emotional wellness? What about emotional intelligence? What about how are you showing up for yourself so you can show up for others? Like that is something that we need to also continue to be examples of.
Yeah.
Everything is not always okay. Everything is not always, you know, we need to make this money so we can buy these, you know, these things. Like all
Yeah.
that shit gonna be gone when you die anyway.
I just had that
So
conversation with a friend the other day about like this, the hustle and bustle, because I think he was like weighing like, oh, if I go to this, like if I do this with family or a conference or something he was talking about, then I won't be making money. I'm like, money flows, okay? But
money,
experiences with people that you care about are not always going to be there. So cherish those. Stop
yeah.
chasing the money all the time. That's going to be there. Like,
And I
yeah.
had to learn that too. Like this, you know, even the response that I just gave you, I probably would have gave you a different response a couple of months or even a year or so later. I mean, before now, like money is great. We need money to survive. I'm not saying I don't like making money, but I definitely for a while used to put um business, my creativity, you know, me in front of relationships, in front
Mhm.
of family, in front of even pouring into and cultivating things with others. Like it wasn't, I don't think it was something that I was necessarily like doing and saying, oh, yeah, I'm doing this because I don't want to do that. It was just, I was hyper focused on these other things because I thought that that was something that I needed to have. I thought that I needed to reach a certain goal or to, you know, show up a certain way. And it's like, nah, you really don't. Like, you really don't have to work yourself to the bone. You really don't have to, um, you know, burn yourself out. I've burnt myself out several times. I'm still
Mm.
learning how to like be easy and graceful, you know, have some grace for myself and feel all of my feelings, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And be transparent, you know, about what that looks like on different days.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Thanks for sharing that. So is there anything that's coming up next for you or hair sprinkles?
Um, so we have the dinner experience.
Mhm.
Um, that's what's coming up next on the 28th, whatever that Sunday, Memorial Day is, in the evening from 6 to 8. Um, we have that. And then this summer, well, I have the 103 Hairspring Resources 103 workshop that just came out. Um, and then this summer, honestly, I'm trying to have a good time. Like, I want to really, I feel like I've been like creating these workshops for so long since 2020. Honestly, I have a Hair Sprinkles 101, Marketing 102, and a Resources 103. And it's not easy putting these types of curriculums together and, you know, putting it on a platform and making it a real educational experience. It takes a lot to
Yeah.
do. So I'm excited to like not be working on that particular type of content for a little while, and to just like have fun, have great exchanges with my clientele, get creative in that realm a little bit more, stretch a little bit more, come up with like, you know, just new concepts of designs and different ways to play around with adornments and different, you know, hair types and textures and things of that nature.
Mhm.
Um, and spend time with my loved ones, spend time with my family and my friends, and kind of take it easy. If I'm honest, I feel like I work a lot,
Yeah.
and I'm ready to kind of just like
Hmm.
slow down a little bit.
I feel you, girl. You and me both, honey. Shoot, I'll be like looking
Yeah.
at my calendar, like, when can I take a vacation? I'll be looking like, well,
Girl,
so like filled in. I'm like, okay, I need to like really carve out a vacation time for myself. But
that is my next mission, honestly.
yes.
Seriously.
Hmm. Well, before you go, Amber, I have to ask you the Friends and Beauty rapid fire questions. So whatever comes to your
Okay.
mind first, just spit it out. The first one is, what are the top three keys to your success so far?
Woo. Top three keys to success. Integrity, community. Oh, you said keys. I'm saying words, like you said,
Yeah,
top
that's
three words.
good. So integrity, community, that's good. And one more.
Um, and good service. Good
Okay.
service
Yeah.
from, client, good service, but also service as a facilitator. Service, however you engage, that is a level of serving to me. So good service.
Okay. How do you measure your success?
Ooh. Um, I measure my success by the level of autonomy I have in my life.
I like it. Yeah.
So if I could even say, hey, I actually don't want to work today. I'm not working today. Or if I can say there's something that I want to achieve, like say there's a goal I have in mind, and I can carve out the time to be able to make it happen and
Mhm.
not have any, you know, well, not have any outside influence, but the power and autonomy to be able to do that, to be able to make the things that I'd like to see come to fruition. So yeah, I measure my success by the level of autonomy I have over my life.
Nice. Okay. What is the best advice you've ever received, or a piece of advice that's always stuck with you?
My mom always says nothing beats a failure but a try.
I agree. I like that.
That is my like that's something that I have kept with me over the years, over many different artistic mediums, over, different ways of putting myself out there. Like when I was performing heavy, oh, I would cold call, cold email anybody for anything.
Mm-hmm.
Because the worst in the way that she likes to say it or frame it is like nothing beats a failure but a try. If they say no, you right back where you started anyway, so you might as well ask.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I hope y'all caught that, because a lot of people are afraid to like put themselves out there and afraid of hearing no or whatever. But like you said, they say no, then you right back.
You
You still
right
in the
back where
same
you
spot.
are, right? Even when it comes to like, I know a big thing in media too, or just over the years has been about like um pay, like transparency about what people are getting paid and things like that, or asking for what you're worth. Ask for it. It's going to honestly be to your benefit if either you get it and you get what you asked for, or you know that that's not for you. Either way, you win, and you can, pursue something else, or figure out your course to go another way. But it's still trying. Like not trying is probably is 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 worse than whatever your perceived failure might be. You don't even know what's on the other side if you don't try.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What advice would you give to another either hair sprinkles artist, I'm trying to see, or entrepreneur, maybe creative, who is just not seeing the results that they want in their business, and they're just like, maybe this isn't for me.
Mm, um, I would say take a beat, go outside, um, get outside of your comfort zone, your routine. So if, if the way that you've been doing things before isn't yielding you the results that you want, then it's probably time to try and do something a little bit different. And that can mean, for some people, that can mean instead of working in an office, then taking your laptop and working outside. So I would definitely share that. I would say find something bigger than you to believe in. Because our egos can really make us feel like, it's all about us. It is all about, reaching this, perceived mile marker. I got to make X amount of dollars, by whatever, or, all of those things are great when you are, when you're trying to, like, say, meet quarterly goals, however it goes. But for your own sanity, like as a creative, as an artist, it's really important, like we mentioned before, to just like give yourself some grace, take a moment, take a beat, take a break. Take a break. Sometimes trying consistently is not the answer. Sometimes you just need to take a break and let it breathe for a second and see what you learn, see how you feel, and come back to it. You come back to it with fresh eyes. I know when I was recording heavily, I could listen to my music, listen to whether it's like the track that I'm producing or like the vocals that I just did. I could listen to it. So much so that there's like a phrase that they say, like when you're recording or when you're making music, that you can almost listen to that demo consistently, that you can't add to it. You're reproducing it the same way. So you need to come to it with new ears. So you take a break, you go away, you go do some other things, leave it alone for a couple of days, and then come back to it, or leave it alone for a week, or leave it alone for a year if that's what you need, so that you can actually almost remember why you even want to do whatever that thing is in the first place.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that advice. I love it. What is a resource that helps you in your business that you can share with the Friends in Beauty community?
Ooh, a resource. Well, I'm not getting paid by these people, but Thinkific.
You love Thinkific?
Thinkific. I love Thinkific. Thinkific has turned me into a believer of online education. Like, even before the pandemic and people were like, go to school online and things like that, I was never interested in it. It just didn't appeal to me. I like, social engagement when it comes to education. But Thinkific turned me into a believer, just because their platform was front facing, is easy. So whether you are the student, trying to take a course or learn something new, it's easy for you to be able to do. And then on the back end, as the facilitator or creator of whatever, curriculum, whatever type of skill set you're trying to share, it is easy for you to do as well. It's easy on the back end. So that platform really is a tool, a resource that I use, and it has put me in touch with so many people across the country, across the world, to be able to engage and share hair sprinkles with in a way that, I didn't imagine.
Yeah, you've been talking about Thinkific for a minute, and you actually convinced me. And now I have
See?
my course on Thinkific. I have my podcast editing course, DIY podcaster, y'all. So if y'all want to learn how to record and edit a podcast, then go to my course. I'll leave it in the description. But yeah, you turned me on, and it is quite, I fancy myself to be a techie anyway. I could figure it out.
You are, yeah.
It's very easy to create your course, to create the landing page, the community, like everything.
Yeah.
Instead of the payment,
Yeah.
it was easy.
I was about to say, in the payment options you can give people, split a payment up if they want to pay using their card, or if they want to pay using PayPal, or if they want to pay like directly into the system. subscriptions or what's free and what's a preview. And I mean, the options is what really sold me, especially considering what I was trying to do. I didn't want, like, I wasn't, no diss to Zoom. I know we're on Zoom right now, but I wasn't ever really trying to like teach people via Zoom, because that was my interpretation of, at the time, online teaching. During the pandemic, everybody was using Zoom, and I was like, absolutely not. Like, I'm not doing that. So through my research, Thinkific was the best option, and it's been a tool for me that has just really, I can put my content up and it's there for however long I have that subscription going. So I love it.
Absolutely. So the last one, I just want you to fill in the blank and just say, my name is blank, and the key to longevity and success is whatever you think it is, Amber.
Oh, wow. Oh, okay. My name is blank, and the key to longevity and success is blank. My name is Amber Mimz, and the key to longevity and success is grace.
Grace. I like it. Grace. Okay. I like it. Before you go, please share like your social media information, or however you want people to connect with you. Hair Sprinkles, enroll in the course, get a service, like share all this stuff.
Okay. So everything is at hairsprinkles.com. HAIRSPRINKLES.com. And on the website, you can book a service. You can see some of our fabulous looks. You can also enroll in the workshops. You can also find out what those different workshops entail, what you get with it. And then you can enroll from there. It'll take you to the Thinkific platform. You can also like preview some of the, maybe like one or two of the workshops on Thinkific. Then what else? My Instagram is hairsprinkles by 2322. And that is the legit, there's no other Instagram page. I'm also on TikTok at the same name. Or no, I think TikTok is just Hair Sprinkles. What else? I'm not a big Twitter person, not a big Facebook person. I do have a Facebook, like I think a group page, and I need to engage with that more. But the website is always going to be your best bet, website and Instagram.
Got you. Well, Amber, thank you so much for blessing us again. Second time's the charm.
I know. I think we got it.
I think we got it this time, but thank you so much for sharing with us, and I wish you the best of luck with Hair Sprinkles. I already know it's going to be like a global sensation, like very, very soon. It's only a matter of time.
Matter of time, definitely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. See ya.
Thanks for listening to the Friends in Beauty podcast. Don't forget, sharing is caring. Share this episode with at least one friend in beauty, and subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts so that other friends in beauty can find this show. Plus, we'd love to hear your feedback. Connect with us on all social media platforms at Friends in Beauty, #Friends in Beauty to join the conversation, and join our Friends in Beauty Facebook community to stay connected. Talk to you soon.